I'm a sociopath, and I have a mild case of DID.
Two parents are dying from stab wounds in their Florida home, and the victim just gave police a name that changes everything.
So you think
Christina,
I hurt my parents?
Christina, there's two sides to every story, right?
Inside the interrogation room, a daughter's mask is about to shatter completely.
You have this pressure on your shoulders. You're doubled over. There's
tired.
Yeah, but there's things that we're not talking about that we're at a point that we need to talk about it.
I'm a sociopath.
September 16th, 2022, Marion County, Florida. Richard Langer, 74, makes a desperate 911 call that stops dispatchers cold. He and his wife, Sally, are bleeding out from multiple stab wounds. But before losing consciousness, Richard manages to gasp out one crucial detail. The person who attacked them was their own daughter, 33-year-old Christina Adams. Paramedics race both victims to trauma surgery. Meanwhile, deputies fan out across the county. Within hours, they spot Christina's car. She's with her wife, Brenda, driving like nothing happened.
Toss the keys out of the vehicle.
There's 2 occupants in the vehicle.
With your right hand, open the door from the outside and keep your hands visible. With your right hand.
Now, as her parents cling to life in the ICU, Christina finds herself trapped in a small gray room with 2 veteran detectives.
Your bra on?
Yes.
Spread your feet for me, okay? Anything in your bra?
No. Just boobs.
Just boobs. Just boobs.
Good. You can have a seat.
Do I get these off or no?
No,
Not yet.
Not yet. It's their show.
Can I at least put them in the front?
I'll ask, but I'm going to be honest with you, chances are probably not, but we'll see what we can do, okay?
Hi, you Christina?
Yes.
Christina, I'm Detective Pender with the Sheriff's Office. We're gonna get your handcuffs moved up to the front real quick here. All right, let's do that. And just to let you know, we're waiting on Detective Stith. Okay, he's going to be the primary detective. He's coming down here now, so that's why we're in a holding pattern until he gets here, and then we can talk some. So we'll try to get you a little bit more comfortable here. Okie dokie.
Christina? I'm Detective Stead.
I'm Detective Pender. Yep, I brought you that water earlier.
Yeah.
Got your handcuffs sorted out.
Thank you.
Sorry to keep you in here. It's a little chilly in here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, trying to get some information about what happened this morning, so I'd like to talk to you. We've talked to a bunch of people. You've been here for a while, so in that meantime, we haven't just been sitting around. We've been trying to put pieces together and get an idea of what happened this morning.
Okay.
So I'd like to ask you some questions and get some information from you. I'm trying to gather some information, and obviously something happened today, and I'm going to talk about that, and I need your complete honesty, okay? Because there's always 2 sides to every story, and a lot of times when we get one side, we're like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense, but then we go talk to the other parties involved, and there's usually more to it than meets the eye with one party statement, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you've been around long enough to know how that works as far as, one person's going to say something that benefits them, but that's not always the truth. So, your complete cooperation, your honesty is going to be very important in this, because we've done a lot of fact-finding already, and we know a lot of stuff. And I'll be honest with you, is I'm going to ask you some questions I already know the answer to, because I just met you. I don't know you from anybody else, right? And the best way I can, in one sitting, just meeting someone to determine if they're being honest and open with me, is to ask them questions I already know the answer to. And it's not that I'm trying to trip you up or trick you or be deceptive to you, but if you answer honestly things that I already know the answer to, then the pieces that I'm still trying to put together, that puzzle, it's going to be a lot easier for me to believe. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
The detectives ease in softly. Just walk us through your day, Christina. She starts talking about morning errands, grocery lists. Then suddenly, mid-sentence, her memory goes dark. Everything after that, a complete blank.
And then you woke up this morning about what time?
5-ish.
5, okay.
I usually have an alarm either 5 or 5:45.
Okay, and what did you do?
I got up, I fed my cats, and I watched some movies, play some games on my phone. I'm in the middle of learning a new language on Duolingo. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Yeah, me and my wife are trying to learn to speak Valyrian from Game of Thrones.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So this morning, were you communicating with Brenda, like through text or
Yeah.
Facebook
Yeah,
Messenger or something?
Messenger.
Okay. And you made arrangements to go to Publix?
I was going to meet her at Publix.
Okay. And did she come over to the house and you guys went there together, or how did you meet up? Like,
everything's very blurry.
why is that?
Just because of everything that's happening, you know, I'm on my way back to my place and I get pulled over and handcuffed and brought here.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's to be stressful.
They nod along, letting her weave her story. But these detectives already have evidence that tears her timeline apart.
So when's the last time you saw your parents?
I mean, we were supposed to... It's been a few days.
It's been a few days. So,
A few days, like, can you kind of give us an idea of like when and where it was more specifically you saw him?
I mean, I'm usually running around doing stuff. I'll usually wave to them if I see them out, like when I'm pulling in or leaving. But...
I mean, have they called you, texted you, knocked on
yeah.
your door
Oh,
in
yeah.
the last couple days?
Mhm.
When was the last communication they made to you then?
This morning I called my mom to ask her to open the door for the laundry.
Oh, okay. So about what time was that you called her, you think? But would it be on your cell phone?
Yeah.
Did you talk to your mom this morning at one time to tell her to open up that door? Did they have to like unlock it so you can go in to do the wash?
Yeah.
Okay. And about what time was that?
I really don't know.
Okay. Was the sun up or down?
I believe it was like the beginning of daylight.
Sure.
Break.
Okay. Was it a long conversation, short conversation?
Very short, like maybe a minute, two.
Describe to us what your mom said.
I said, good morning, and she said, hey, good morning. And yesterday there was a little bit of, miscommunication. I was headed out, and they were trying to get a hold of me. And I had groceries to get at Publix and Walmart, and so I was on a little frazzle trying to leave the house. And they were saying, please call me, please call me. Well, my mom was. And so then she said, oh, good morning, finally. And I said, yeah, good morning, how are you? And she said, good, how are you? I said, could you open the door so I could do some laundry? And she said, yeah, sure, come on over. And so I went over there and put my laundry in, and I heard Gunsmoke on the TV. That's what she usually watches. And that was it.
When she's watching Gunsmoke on TV, which is normal, what room is that she's in?
A living room,
Okay.
entertainment center place.
Okay. So you could hear that through the door, and when you did this load of wash, it sounds like it might have been in there for a little bit. I'm not sure what settings you used. Was it like a big load of wash? What were you washing?
Just some clothes, shorts, towels. I don't really sort laundry, I just throw it all in.
So it's going to be shorts and towels that are in the washing machine?
Jacket,
The pressure builds. Questions loop back, drilling the same points from different angles. Each pass tightens the noose.
Did your dad call you or text you this morning?
Mm-mm.
Did you hear him in the background whenever you were talking to your mom? Did you guys?
No, but he usually goes on a morning walk. Like
what
right
time does
around.
he usually do that?
I assume sun up, or shortly before. What else was in that laundry basket? Bras, shirts, shorts, towels. There was a pair of work gloves and some shoe covers.
You said work gloves and shoe covers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I remember correctly, though, you're not working right now, though?
No.
Okay. When was all that? When were the work gloves?
I was doing some cleaning over at Brenda's house, and we were using bleach, and I'm clumsy when it comes to bleach, and so I always...
Okay. Maybe I missed that. When were you guys doing some cleaning?
Yesterday.
Okay.
Or not yesterday.
Christina?
So many days going together. What?
I don't want you to dig yourself into a deeper hole. When I came in here and asked you to get your side of the story, it's because I think there's more to this story than what I have so far. But I'll be honest with you, I've talked to your parents, okay? I've talked to other people. We're in the process of getting a search warrant for the house, for your vehicle, for phones, and there's things that we're going to find that are going to contradict what you're telling me, because I don't believe what you're telling me, okay? And I want you to give yourself the opportunity to be honest, because there has to be more side of the story. And what I want you to do is to give me, some understanding that you're not this cold-blooded person that would do things to their parents without a good reason. There has to be more to it. Now, you've told me you've been in a depression. I've talked to your wife. She said you've been going through some things as well, frustrated with school and with work, and the way things are. You want to be independent, but unfortunately, sometimes we have to rely on our parents, and that can cause stress between kids and their parents, and for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So something happened this morning which you have been not even interested in knowing about. You haven't asked me once about what happened. Your wife has been more interested about what happened, and that tells me you already know what happened.
No,
I've been listen. Let's stop now. Hold on. Let's just skip the part where you do that, okay? Because I wouldn't come in here and give you this opportunity if I didn't think there was more to the story, okay? I don't think you're that person that's cold-blooded that's going to do this, and that you would just harm somebody of your family if there wasn't more going on. I don't know if there's, issues where you're going through more severe depression than what you're letting on, and you're not letting your family members in on this, and something triggered you. But you've got to be honest with yourself right now. You've got to be honest with us, because at the end of the day, when all our investigation is complete, you're either going to be the person who was honest and took responsibility and told us what's going on that would cause somebody to do something out of their character like this, or you're going to be the person that's going to be looked at as a liar and a cold-blooded person that would harm their parents. So you need to decide right now which person you're going to be.
If it's something more severe than depression, that's something else we can talk about. Because I've sat down and I've talked to people in this room that have things that are going on with them, and they haven't even been diagnosed by a doctor. But everything that Detective Focus is talking to you about is 100% the truth. There was a call from your parents' house. There was statements provided. There's things that you haven't talked to us about yet, and he's right. We should just hit the reset button and start over and try to get back on track here regarding with what we know happened at the house to some extent, but we have to try to figure out what really happened. And he's right, because we haven't been talking about all of the truth. We've been leaving some stuff out, and which I get. I get it, because it might be embarrassing or shameful or whatever it may be. But he's right that there's, and I'm interested as to why you were leaving some of the stuff out. Is it something worse than depression? Do you have like bipolar disorder or anything like that you've been diagnosed with?
Okay, can we time out?
Sure.
What happened to my parents?
Your parents are at the hospital right now. They're being treated for some injuries, very severe injuries, and we're trying to sort through that without giving you everything that we know. 'Cause obviously, we want to give you an opportunity to tell us what you know, and that's what we're working through.
And a lot of what we've done so far up to get to this process, before I first walked into this room, we've already done a lot of that process, so we know a lot of the who, the what, the where, and the how. But one thing we can't understand until we talk to everybody is the why. Okay, Christina? And I'm concerned about your wife over there who has a 5-year-old and what her involvement is in this. Because that 5-year-old, Annabelle, she doesn't have a father right now, right?
I know,
but I'm saying the biological father has passed away.
Yes.
So she relies on you and Brenda to care for her.
Yes.
So, as of right now, I just need to know what her involvement is in this. Is this something that just happened on a split second, or was this something that was planned? Because that makes a big difference as far as your mentality of what happened, right?
Planned things or things that just something got out of hand and it was a mistake. There's a big difference there. So we're trying to gauge where we're at on the scale here. Was this something that Christina and Brenda were like planning? This was like it was a grand scheme, or was this, and we see this a lot, was this just a one-time thing that something happened, oh my gosh, I can't believe that it snowballed into this, and we're trying to figure out where it is on the gauge. And we've already talked to her, now we're sitting in here talking to you, and like Detective Stitt said, we've already spoke to everybody, we're sort of trying to gauge where we're at. We know that we're not in the right place, we want to hit the reset button, we want to get back on track here. We're trying to gauge Brenda's involvement, your involvement with this, given with what we know, and we just want to start over and just start talking about what's going on with the truth.
So you think
Christina,
I hurt my parents?
Christina, I've gathered from the people I've talked to, I've gathered that you and your parents have been coming almost like to an impasse as far as them wanting you to move on with your life and take some responsibility.
Responsibility.
As far as, you know, they've helped you out in the past, right?
That's what they want to fucking call it.
But that's what I'm saying. There's two sides to every story, right? And that's what I'm trying to understand. Okay? Because, like he mentioned, we're not going to tell you everything we know, because then that goes back to what I was saying about me asking you questions I know the answer to. If I just tell you everything, you can either say yes or no, but that doesn't really confirm the facts and the truths that we need to get to. And one of those big things is why would this happen? Don't be that person, because you're one of two people at this point, okay? You're either a person who got into a situation with family, and we all know how families can get, and you did something out of emotion, raw emotion, or you're a cold-blooded person who harmed your parents and planned this. And I don't think that's the type of person you are.
Can we drop some bullshit? What is going to happen, like, path A or path B? Red pill?
I need to know your side of the story. I can't answer that without knowing if there's more to it than what I've been told so far, right?
Exactly, that's what you guys
I mean, we can tell you that there is not going to be, it's happening right now. There's a search warrant being done on the house. We're going to collect everything out of the house that's evidence. It's all going to go to the laboratory. We're going to have options for search warrants on various cell phone records, all kinds of stuff. I'm understanding, is there a DVR at the house? This is just the tip of the iceberg, and this is your opportunity right now to give yourself a picture of who you are. We've sat down in here with people that stone cold face lie to us, and I've talked to them for 2 hours, and they've said, I don't even know. They stuck with, I don't even know the whole time. Then whenever we get all the evidence, and months down the road, they're like, well, gosh, I wish I just would have actually explained myself better. It's already too late at that point. So everything that I've learned about you, I've looked up your record. I see that you have like a little bit of a record of some mistakes you made in the past. Those mistakes don't strike me as like a really ruthless, cold-blooded monster or something like that. This is a person that had a few mistakes that happened when they were younger, and they've been trying to recover from it. That's the picture you painted. And now when we came in here, and I know that what we were talking about initially wasn't all the truth, but I don't hold that against you, because I can tell you 99% of the people that I put in the chair and I've spoke to, they don't tell me the truth right away, because they don't know what to do, they feel uncomfortable, they're not sure, they don't know what's going to happen. But we always get to a point in an interview where this is their choice to show that they were remorseful, they felt sorry about what they did, the guilt is weighing down on their shoulders, and then once we talk about what it is, whether it be this terrible mistake, the worst mistake of their whole life, I can see the pressure come off their shoulders because they know that this is just hanging over them. And I can see, I was watching you while you were sitting in here, you have this pressure on your shoulders. You're doubled over. There's
tired.
Yeah, there's things weighing on you. You're very articulate. You're very smart. You're able to tell us all about your day and your life with this video game, how all these things go. And then we go to talk about the morning, and there's just these long pauses, and it's just crushing me because I'm like, you know what happened. You're very smart. You're very articulate. You can explain very well. But there's things that we're not talking about that we're at a point that we need to talk about it. And when you say that, we just got to drop the bullshit, I mean, I agree to that, and we're not going to lie to you about anything. These are the steps and things that are being done by the other detectives that are involved in the case, that they're doing the paperwork and they're getting it all done right now. And our job is to talk to you and try to figure out, and we're not lying to you about that either. Your parents are up at the hospital right now, and I call the deputy that's up there about every 10 to 15 minutes to get updates to see if A, they've said any more, or B, their status has gone up or down. Okay? That's where we're at here. So we know all these different things, then we're in here talking to you, and we have to have a narrative or a face or why that it got to the level that it got to this morning that this happened. And I've seen all the different, and we're not going to spoon feed exactly all the details, because I would like, and I think there's some remorse in you, and you want to tell us the full story without me just saying everything and you going yes or you going no, because that doesn't show to me a person that is really invested in explaining themselves. You know, something happens. I'm sorry, detective, and I'm sorry to the world, and this is what it is. I mean...
Then, the first crack. Christina admits Brenda had nothing to do with this, but before she'll say another word, she needs something from them.
And I can tell you, I'm not going to lie to you either, Brenda's upset. She was upset whenever she's in there. He's not lying. She appears to be confused about a couple of different things, but she is upset. And we're all just trying to get some answers. That's where we're at now. So
did Brenda have anything to do with this?
No.
Did she in any way try to cover this up?
No.
I'm going to be honest. Initially, I am a little worried that she maybe had some kind of cover-up thing going on, and that's I am a little worried about that.
She's very good at reading me, and I feel like she knew something was off, and that's why she's, you know, trying to, despite her best efforts, cover my ass.
Yeah.
But she had no idea, no, nothing.
Is it safe to say then, and this would make me feel a little better, please be honest with me, she doesn't really know what she's covering for, but she feels like she wants to protect you?
Yes.
Okay, I can sort of get on board with that. Let's go back to this morning and help us understand how it got to that point,
What follows is a twisted family portrait. Siblings who tortured her, parents who never protected her. Every grievance, every slight, pouring out.
Can there be a condition? Can I make a request?
You can make a request, but listen, we're going to do our jobs regardless of what you tell us. This is more an opportunity to get it off your chest and get it off your shoulders, just like you said, because it's one thing to do it now when we're having this conversation, and another thing to when the dam of evidence is coming down and it's getting so heavy that no one can deny it anymore, because people look at that. They look at that about remorse and
Tell us about what this request is. I can tell you, the people that I've sat with in here, there's some things I can help with. I've had people sit down and write letters to other people, and then I can deliver them. Tell me about what you're requesting, to be specific.
I mean, I just want to be able to see her and hug her and tell her I love her.
I don't necessarily know if there's a problem with that. Detective Stipp can gauge that. You haven't struck me as a person that's going to pass things to another person or beat somebody up, or obviously depending on what you tell us, I might be worried about evidentiary value of the clothing you wear. So we'll assess that at the end then, because I don't know if I'd want you touching somebody if it turns out the clothes you wear are involved in it. That would obviously concern me with the case, because things can move. But so I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with that request, but again,
we'll see where we
everything
gauge
you
it at.
is the facts.
If you go and you tell us these are the same clothes I was wearing and it has all kinds of stuff all over my clothes, then obviously I wouldn't be able to let you.
It's not the same stuff.
Okay, that would be a concern of mine, that the clothes would transfer into her clothes. So, what happened?
We'll start fresh, okay? Because like you said, once we get people in this chair, to a certain point, they're going to be apprehensive about talking until they realize that it is the best thing.
Is it easiest to start from when you open your eyes this morning? I mean, did they call and text you and wake you and bother you, or?
No, it's not. I've had a very, very rough life. And they don't see that. was young, like, we lived in Dallas, Texas until I was 10 years old. I had friends, I was popular, I was active, I wasn't fat. And then, because of a job, he decides we're all moving to Florida. The only perk is that shortly after the move, I, adjusted, as well as I could, I guess. I rode my bike around the neighborhood. I tried to make friends. My brothers, James and John, however, would stay in their room, play video games, and just stay in the room in the dark and stuff. I believe John is a psychopath because of the things that he did to me, and James helped. There would be various times of the day that, whenever my parents weren't watching, that they'd, tie me down, hold me down, and burn me with either cigarettes or little metal rods or pins that they would heat up in different ways and put them out on my skin. The derma has done wonders for the scars on my legs, but they're still there somewhat.
Is that one there from being burned by something?
Yes.
Were your parents aware of this stuff going on? Or did you never?
I tried telling them, shortly after it started happening. My mom looked at me in the face and said, I can't do anything unless I catch them in the act.
It's going to be hard to deal with growing up, having to be in the house with them.
I would sit at the dinner table, and my brothers would have these, hand signals, code signs that, and I knew what was going to happen later, and I'd start crying. And my dad would be like, why can't you just be happy?
Talking to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he'd send me to my room without finishing dinner.
So you'd have their back when you wasn't exactly there for you when you needed it.
Yeah. And I physically beat myself up, punched myself in the back because I didn't know what to do. I couldn't. I had all this pain on the inside. And there was no way to let it go, because neither of my parents would listen to me about my brothers. They didn't do shit about it, and that went on for 3 years.
She insists she was framed for abusing her nephews. The detectives listen patiently. Then they ask her age, a simple question. The 33-year-old somehow gets it wrong.
I was married to 3 sisters from another family. I'm sure you are familiar with the name McCain, or McLean, State Representative Dan McLean.
Sure, I think I've heard it before. I couldn't tell you what that person does.
Yeah, well, anyway, he's a state representative in Florida, and he's got 12 kids, and 3 of his daughters married 3 of my brothers, Daniel, John, and James. James and Amanda are no longer together. They got divorced after their 2nd kid, but the other 2 are still together. Anywho, 2 of the sisters, Morgan and Amanda, thought it would be, funny, or I don't know what purpose it served, but they decided to ruin my life even more and accused me of molesting my 2 nephews.
They did that. Was that accused here in Marion County?
Yes. And on my 20th birthday, I got called from OPD saying to come down and talk about it and get questioned.
Yeah.
And there was 2 separate accusations. One when I was 15 and one when I was 18. 15, it was pretty open and shut. They were living in the back apartment that I'm living in now. And they started this whole business, and I was the last person to know about it. Everybody was talking about it in front of me, and I had no idea what was going on, that all these people thought this stuff of me. And so my dad told them to either let it go, the accusation, or get the fuck out of the back apartment. And so they only apologized or let it go just so that they would have a place to live. And then 3 years later, I'm going to school, I'm working 3 jobs. Well, 2 jobs at the time. And then my mom asks me as a favor to her to babysit for Daniel and Morgan. And I tell her no fucking way. And she begs and pleads and twists that thing of guilt and, do it for me. And my instincts screamed no. And there was nothing to do about it. So I get off my other 3 jobs, or 2 jobs, and plus school, and go over to their house for them to go to a Dave Ramsey seminar so that they can learn how to get out of debt that my parents paid for. And I frankly, I don't even know why they accepted that I was going to be the babysitter. Anyway, after what happened when I was 15. A couple months go by, same shit happens again.
You get accused of that.
Except instead of Morgan accusing me of molesting not her son, but James's son, she accuses me of molesting her own son.
So you get accused of that again.
Mm-hmm.
And the family targeted you again in some way. Before it was your brothers when you were younger, physically abusing you, and now it's the in-laws emotionally abusing you.
The confessions keep coming. Years of drug addiction, 300 days behind bars for theft.
How old are you now?
I'm 30.
Okay. So you've gone through all that since you're 19, and then something happens leading up to this morning.
I've known I've been gay since I was like 7, 8 years old. I would never hurt my nephews. I loved them. I was so happy when I learned that I was going to be an aunt for the first time. David was in the hospital at the time, and my mom was down visiting him, and Daniel and Morgan came in, and I was the first one they told. Ever since those accusations, the family's been divided. At one point in time, anybody who said that I was a child molester was out of the will. But then at some point it changed. And my mom got, her soft heart got the better of her, and she just wanted to be around her grandkids. And so that was the remedy, just to welcome them back in the fold, the accusers.
Was that something that happened recently?
No, this was like years ago.
Okay.
And I had a lawyer to give advice for like how to maneuver through the accusations with my honor intact, but there's when you search my name or when someone does a background check, there's still something that pops up. It says that like there's no information, but it says hey, it might as well that I did it.
Sure.
He agrees that I'm not going to get to see my niece and nephew forever. And so, because I was working at JCPenney at the time, and I was living under their roof, and Chance and Zoe and James were also living there half the time. Well, James full-time, but the kids half the time. I had to hear them playing and ask about me, and they could not know I was there. I couldn't give them presents, nothing. And so I tried to find a way to numb the pain, and I got into drugs, shooting up Dilaudid, and when I couldn't find those, shot up heroin and coke, because I ran out of money, and so I resorted to stealing, which is how I got more charges. And then with the last charge, there was a guardian angel looking out for me somehow, and there was a mistake with my points in my favor, and so I should have been in prison for years, but I got only 300 days. And
After her 2019 release, rehab brought her together with Brenda, but the detectives have heard enough backstory. Time to talk about today, about what she did to her parents.
Opiate.
And that was recent, because I know Brenda had mentioned that you two have been in the program for a while now.
Yeah, I've been there for
Suboxone?
3 years, yeah. Yeah, I got out beginning of 19, and I went to Orca either beginning of February or beginning of March of 19. And I've been there since, and they've been like family, and they've helped me more than anybody has when it comes to sobriety and other things. And that's how Brenda and I met. And within a few months, I knew she was the one.
About a year and a half ago now?
Yeah. Our anniversary date is January 25th, 2021. And and we just got married at the beginning of this year, January 25th.
It's a lot of work and responsibility to take care of a 5-year-old too. Can add a lot of stress on your life when you're going through a lot of stuff that's happened so far in the past, but still over your shoulder haunting you.
And how much healing would have there been if people just owned their shit and said they're sorry for their part?
Yeah.
I understand they can't take it back. They can't, rewrite history. But you can at least say you're fucking sorry.
Give you a little closure. Yeah.
Her parents wanted her out of their lives. When her father refused to help her move, something inside her snapped.
From 13 till 18, and he's the one that got me to smoke crack for the first time, and then I didn't like it, and he held it over my head, saying, I'm going to tell Mom and Dad, otherwise, or unless you help me get more crack.
Christina, I know it's really difficult to talk about some of the stuff that we need to talk about, but I just want you to do the best you can. Don't leave anything out, and just tell us how this happened today.
I'm a sociopath, and I have a wild case of DID.
Okay.
And under extreme stress and emotion, other forces control my actions. And
your emotions got the best of you today? Okay.
I've tried to explain to my dad, I take responsibility for the mistakes that I've made, the criminal and whatever, and, but for some reason, somebody out there a long time ago said that 7 years was the statute of limitations of how long it has to be from the time you get released from jail or prison until, it doesn't matter anymore. So why 7 years?
I don't know.
That's ridiculous. And, he wanted me to move so that one of my brothers who has a job, who has income, can stay there, and I'm just, kicked the fuck out?
So they didn't even care where you went at this point? They just wanted you gone?
They just wanted me gone.
Did you tell him you'd be homeless?
Yeah. I told him I have no money. I have no way to get a job to support myself. And
She tries the blackout defense, claims dissociative identity disorder stole her memories, but then the details start spilling out, too specific to be forgotten.
Now, I understand with DID you might not be in the driver's seat, but I believe you're in the passenger seat. Tell me some of the snippets that you remember being a passenger in whatever's occurring.
I remember,
We're not here to judge, okay?
I know, I'm trying to...
It's okay to say it. We've been in rooms with people who have no remorse or cares for any people that they would hurt. And I can tell you're not that person. I can tell you're scared, and I get that. But you can talk to us and not worry about being judged.
Tell me about the last thing you recall them saying. Who was it, your mom or your dad that was talking?
It was my dad.
What was the last thing he said that you remember?
You're gonna be out tomorrow, right?
Okay. Did you say something back?
I think I just nodded. And then that's when it's like fuzzy.
Let's work through the other senses. Do you remember the feeling of anything in your hand?
Yeah.
Describe to me what you felt in your hand.
Something like circular or flat and hard.
Tell me where this would have come from, or tell me more about what it is. What do you see?
I know I was like still in my basketball shorts and t-shirt like when I went over there to do laundry.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know, like it's like I was covered from, you know, the neck down.
I don't want to guess. What were you covered in?
Well, clothes.
Okay.
I went over, my dad was on the computer, like in the computer room, in his computer chair.
Mm-hmm.
And I just came up behind him and
Describe this, how you heard it.
Okay.
Tell us what you stabbed him with. A knife? Where did you get the knife from?
I had one for self-defense.
Okay.
In my apartment.
In the apartment? You got it from your apartment? When we go and look for the knife, describe to us what color it is and how big it is.
It's like 9 inches long, like total.
Okay.
Like,
Does it have a color handle?
I believe it's black.
Okay. And when you hurt him and you stabbed him, where do you think the first place it was that he got hurt and stabbed at?
Left arm.
His left arm? Okay. I know it's hard. Tell us what happened after that. He's sitting at his computer, right? Okay. Was it back to you?
Yes.
Okay.
And I feel like I think I like shocked him with my it's another self-defense thing that I carry. A taser.
Okay.
A little handheld.
A handheld taser?
Yeah, pens like wood.
Okay. All right.
And then so I shot him and turned around. And then I stabbed him.
Did you shock him first, before the left arm?
Yeah, before.
Okay. Okay. And then what happened? Just take a deep breath.
I can't remember where the next one landed.
You said he turned towards you at that point?
Yeah, after the shock. I don't know where it happened next.
Okay.
But I think it was like 2. My dad, one in my mom, and then the last one in my dad.
I'm sorry, what?
2.
Mm-hmm. 2 stabs.
To your dad, and then you said 1 to your mom?
Yeah.
She dressed entirely in black, crept behind her father, hit him with a taser, then drove the knife in again and again.
How does the transition from your dad to your mom? Your dad was over by the computer. We already talked about that. How did you get over to your mom?
She heard the commotion. She came over and she's like, "What are you doing?" I don't know what.
What part of her body did you stab? You're pointing at the middle of the chest? Okay. Did you use the taser on her at all? Okay.
That was just more out of reaction and being scared of what had just happened?
I'm sorry?
Was that more of out of reaction, what happened with your mom? Just she coming in and realizing what had happened and you got scared? Yeah.
Tell us how you went back to your dad for another stab.
He got mad. I had my mom. He started crawling. And then he got up, and I got him as well here.
In the chest?
Yeah.
And you're pointing to the middle of the chest?
Yeah.
What happened after that, Christine?
He stumbled and he went like through the computer room, down the front hall, towards like the very middle of the couch, and on the other side is a bar and a sink, the kitchen sink, and he went over the couch on his back like this. He went over that, and then he tried to get up, and then the last time I saw him, he was on the couch.
Okay.
I don't know if you were in the house, the office, like there's the pool door, and then there's the office, and there's the back of the couch. He was in this like seat.
Okay. Now, when you said that your mom came in after hearing all the commotion, right? Okay. And then that's what happened. What happened with your mom happened, and your dad was angry. Was he saying something? Was he still able to?
He said some bitch or something.
Did he stand up, or was he still sitting?
When?
After what happened to your mom, and then you focused your attention back at him. Was he standing or sitting?
I believe he was standing.
He was standing. So at that point, you approached him from the front, so you were facing each other. Okay. And you said 1 stab to the chest. Okay. And then he went from the computer room to where he was at in the couch the last time you saw him. Did your mother ever say anything?
I think she stabbed me.
Okay.
And that was it.
But she fell down? And where did you go?
I don't know. I think she just laid out.
Okay.
When you last saw your dad on the couch, did you think he was still alive? No. When you last saw your mom, did you think she was still alive? So you thought they were both dead? realize what you did?
I took off all my clothes. I was a washer. My skirt I hadn't worn so left.
Were you able to take a shower, wash off? But the gloves and all the clothes are in there? Did you add bleach?
No.
Just more soap?
And what did you do with the knife?
I did put in water and bleach.
I'm sorry?
I put that
In
in
the washing machine?
No.
Not the clothes washer, but like
No.
dishwasher?
No, bucket.
A bucket, okay. Is that where it's still at?
No. You know where it is.
We'll let you tell us where it is. After it went in the water and the bleach, what happened to it next?
I put it in my trash bag and I put it in with a couple buckets of ice that I was going to refill at racetrack. Like, in the same bag.
Mm-hmm.
It's in my car.
Okay. So it's in your car and it's with those bags. And it's the same one you described to us, the inches and the handle. Okay. So that's inside of your car. And then the taser pen was one of the questions too. Where did that go?
I think it's on my bed.
Okay. So the taser pen is on the bed, but the knife is in those bags that's in your car. Okay. Were you going to throw that away later, or
What?
the knife?
I don't know what I put in. I don't know what I was going to do.
When you came up to your dad with that knife and this all started happening, was your goal to kill him?
I don't know. I was just really mad.
You were really mad, but help us understand, because you said you were wearing basketball shorts when this conversation happened, and you went back home, you changed, you put on gloves, you picked up a knife and a taser, and you went back with the intention to do what you did. But what was in your mind when you formulated that plan? What did you think was going to happen?
I don't know.
But you left when you believed that they were dead, is that accurate? Is the knife in the red or the silver car? I'm confused.
Silver.
Okay, it's in the silver car.
Did you go back to the house after you initially left with the knife and the taser? You didn't go back to check on them? Did you call anyone and tell anyone what had happened?
No, I was very scared.
Did you contemplate calling 911 or trying to get them help? Or did you believe that they were already beyond help at that
I
point?
thought they were beyond help, and that it would just, end up with me back in here.
What was your plan? Because you know somebody was going to eventually have to come to the house, right?
I didn't know.
You hadn't thought that far ahead yet?
With her parents bleeding on the floor, she peeled off the bloody clothes, changed into fresh ones, and went shopping with Brenda like it was any other Friday.
So you actually, you did go meet up with Brenda at Publix after this happened?
What did you tell her?
I just hugged her and told her good morning.
Yeah.
But I know her look on her face, she knew something was up.
Did you indicate to her something was off or something had happened?
No.
No?
Just to clarify from your first statement, Brenda did not come over this morning?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. All right, so it was when you met her up there and you guys were up there and you were able to hug her and okay. Did you obtain any injuries on yourself during all this?
No.
Okay, I don't see any on you, I just have to ask, of course.
So all the glove, what kind of gloves were they? Were like a knit material, or were they like nylon? Do you know what I mean? Something that you could just throw in the wash with clothes and stuff? Okay. Is that where those gloves went also? All right. You had mentioned earlier about shoe covers.
Yeah, those were in there too.
Were you wearing those when you went back to the house and this all happened?
I think so.
Okay.
Regarding your DID, have you ever been formally diagnosed by a doctor from that? Have you ever gone to a mental health facility like the Centers or the Vines for any sort of treatments?
I knew if I told my parents that I, had issues
Okay.
with mental health, that they would throw me in a booty bin and throw away the key.
Okay. So this is something that you believe you have based off of your life experiences. Is that safe to say?
Yes.
But with no formal diagnosis, I understand. Having learned all this, like we said, your parents are alive when we last checked at the hospital, and they were being worked on by the medical staff up there, and I was checking every 10 minutes. We've been here for a long time. I can see you're crying now. Is this something that you feel sorry about now in retrospect? Okay. I think it's probably important we get all this stuff over to the other detectives that are out at the house. I don't know, I don't, like I said, we can leave people paper for apologies if they're inclined. It's not something we ever force people to do. I actually don't even offer it to all people, but you seem like you've had a very hard life and you've gone through a lot. So I'm going to leave an empty pad in here, and if you wanted to write messages to any family or your parents or any friends regarding what happened, I can see about what we can do with that. But I definitely think we need to go talk to our supervisors about that. Hang on a second.
She's still here?
Yeah, she's still here.
I'm going to go talk to her about, if she wants to make arrangements for her mom to get the
kids.
little one, okay? She's going to leave this right here, and we'll be back with you in just a few minutes, okay?
Yeah. Get everything over there. Sorry, that's blanket.
All right. Thank you, Christine.
During a break, Christina scribbles a letter to Brenda. When detectives return, they systematically destroy her remaining lies, correcting her on the actual number of wounds.
Track goes down there. You wrote something?
Yeah, for my wife.
Okay, so yeah, we got a couple updates that you wanted to go through.
Yeah, so we spoke with the hospital right now. Both your parents are still alive. They're still working on her and on him. So I did get an update, and they gave us a little bit more information about what exactly happened. So I wanted to get a better understanding from you, and I really appreciate everything that you've told us. It started off a little rocky, and like I told you before, I understand. When we first met, you don't know me, I don't know you, but I feel like you did the right thing, getting it off of your shoulders, and like I told you at the very beginning, is there's more to it, and you let me in on a lot of that about what's happened in your past. So I definitely understand a little bit better your side of things, and that's very helpful. You don't have to go back to one second, but this time here. So one of the things that I would like to get a better understanding of is there was several stab wounds on your father, okay? And when you and I and Detective Pender had spoke before, you had mentioned that there was one that you believed was initially to his left arm?
Yes.
Okay, and then another one that you had mentioned, this was after you stabbed your mother, that you turned back toward your father?
Right. There was a total of 3.
3?
On my dad. I can't tell you where the middle one was.
Okay, so the doctors are telling us that he has 7 stab wounds. Now, I understand there's a lot going on, and you're not mentally in the right spot, so it's, and it all happened very fast, I'm sure. So, but is that something that maybe you just, I wouldn't imagine that you're counting when you're doing this.
No, of course.
So, but from my perspective, and you've been, I think, very honest since we got through that first roadblock. Yeah.
Everything that I can remember.
So when we stepped out, we reviewed this, what our findings were with our supervisor, as well as got updates by what the other detectives are handling in different aspects of this case. And one of the sticking points for us is the fact that you went over and changed after this initial discussion where your dad was, he didn't care about where you went. He didn't care about your state of mind, being possibly homeless or having nowhere to go, and he just said, I want you out tomorrow. No ifs, ands, or buts. But at that point, you left that conversation, and you put on gloves and long clothing, shoe covers.
How long did you have those shoe covers and stuff? The gloves and the shoe covers, is that something that you had picked up like the night before and you were...
That's like something that I usually have. I bought them a while ago because I was going to be at the farm. That I mentioned
You did the veterinary hospital off 27.
Yeah, and I had them because they had a type of shoe cover, but my boots were like too big for those shoe covers.
Got it.
And so I wanted to find ones that were reusable and that would protect my shoes from bleach.
So ultimately, what we're trying to understand and get a better understanding of is this a situation where this is something been building and been on your mind to do this for a long time, or is this something that you just thought after that conversation today you formulated this plan that I can't deal with these people anymore, they've just hurt me too much, they put me through too much, and I'm going to go and from all the things that you have told me and everything that I've seen, you intended, you were going to kill them. You couldn't live with this any longer.
Was it something that you planned in just 15 minutes, or this been planned over 15 days? Were you thinking about what you do?
Just like today.
Just today?
Yeah.
How many minutes do you think you put together this plan?
It just irked me that he just didn't care. He just wanted me gone. It's like, why did you even have me if you don't want me? And that, I think, just overwhelmed me.
Yeah, that is overwhelming for sure. Especially, you live in such close quarters. Yeah, you're in separate buildings, but, all that history that you talked to us about, I'm sure you didn't even tell us everything. I know there's probably a lot more.
A lot of trauma, I understand.
And it kind of all built up to this point that where you were at this morning, where it was just too much to bear any longer.
Was the gap between when you walked away and he said that, when you went in and got all your clothes on, was this something that was 10, 15 minutes? How much time was it before you went and returned?
It was like very, very short, like 5 minutes.
Okay, so about 5 minutes from whenever you left, and then you put together this plan to put on the booties, put on the clothes, put on the gloves, and get the taser pen and the knife. Is that about right? And then go back in there. Okay, and in that time he had gone over to his computer and sat down. Is that accurate?
Yes.
No, let me ask you this. Was it you knew both of your parents were in the house, correct, when you went back?
Well, yes.
Okay, so was it your intention to only kill your father and not your mother, or was your intention that even though she didn't necessarily put everything on you like your father was, she didn't stand up for you enough? So you were just going to have to kill both of them?
Okay. So the plan was for both of them?
Yes.
That's really a tough thing to talk about, and Christina, I appreciate that. And like I said, right now I still don't have a whole lot of information from them, but they are still alive. Okay. So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but from everything it looks like, right? How are you going to handle this? Because I know I kind of asked you, and you said you hadn't thought that far ahead. But I think in your mind you were probably thinking of a way that, because at some point it's going to come out of what happened to them. And I think you had started to formulate an idea of how you were going to handle it when it happened, whether you were the one to discover them and say, oh my gosh, something happened to them, or like what were you planning on doing? Like again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but were you going to go to the house and say you discovered them like this and call 911, say somebody broke in, this was...
So the plan entirely was it to go in and say, oh, we found them, or was it just to go and move the clothes to the dryer?
Just to move the clothes.
Okay. You didn't have a plan regarding how they were going to be found or discovered later?
Were you going to try to clean this up yourself? Or were you gonna involve Brenda in trying to clean this mess up?
No, I care way too much about her ticket.
So there had to have been some thought on your part at this point, between the time that this all happened to the point where you got picked up, that what you were gonna do
Like,
with the
everything happened
situation.
so fast. Like, it was like right after it happened, and I left to go meet her at Publix. We went to Publix for those 3 things, and then we left, and we were on our way back to my place. There was no, like, I was just trying to keep calm and...
What you wrote?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's for Brenda?
Yeah, and I was hoping I could hug her.
I was not gonna have a problem with that at all, and I don't think Detective Stith is. The problem is that she has already left. While we were talking earlier, she had left. I think she wants to go pick up her.
So she's free.
Yes. I didn't know this while we were talking. My supervisor had said that she can go, which is, she doesn't have to stay here. But she had already left.
Do you know how long ago it was?
It was sometime when we were in here the first time, I'm not sure.
Before we even got out before we.
Did I try calling her?
You'll get a chance to wait. I can't let any phone calls come out of this room, but we don't do that. But yeah. So I mean, if you wrote her something, I can see that she gets it. If that's for her, I can see that she gets to that. That is one thing that I am able to do, but we can't do telecommunications in and out of the room while we're trying to get everything going. Okay.
So what happens now?
Detective Stiff's going to have some serious paperwork we got to go through.
Yeah, there's still a couple pieces that we're putting together, because there's a lot of moving parts right now. There's detectives in different parts, and they're gathering information, and they all have to come back to one place, and we put pen to paper, so to speak.
And your dad's, we just went into operating right whenever we came in here too. So we definitely want an update on that. I can take that from you though and see about giving that to her if you want to put it there. I can see about that, and we can get an operating room update, I guess, on your father, and see if there's any other questions from our bosses.
Is that something you want to know?
Okay.
Please.
So we can do that. I don't think I have any other questions right now though. Hey, has everything we talked about now been the truth?
Yes.
Okay, did anybody force you to say these things to us? Anybody tell you to tell us something?
No.
All right, we'll be right back, okay?
Against all odds, Sally Langer survives her injuries. Richard did not. Christina Langer faced charges of first-degree premeditated murder and attempted first-degree murder with a deadly weapon. The jury needed little time to convict. She's now serving 2 life sentences without parole. The wounds she inflicted on her family will never fully heal. But in that interrogation room, 2 determined detectives stripped away every lie, every excuse, and delivered justice for Richard and Sally.